And I think being a maxi is a really bad way to make trading decisions or investing decisions.
Awesome. That's great context. Yeah, great context. You've talked a little bit about Sol. I mean, you've always been like, you guys Multicoin are the Solana guys. You guys are known for the Solana trade, but you also have hit the Hyperliquid trade. And you spoke a little earlier about how cash flows are important now for tokens. I guess, how do you think of Solana versus Hyperliquid? Because I've seen like a lot of the backlash from Hyperliquid people is they say that L1s don't do a good job of internalizing a lot of their revenue. And Hyperliquid obviously internalizes the majority of the revenue from its perps platform. So I guess, how do you think of Solana versus Hyperliquid like long term, and how they both drive value to their tokens in different ways, native tokens?
So I like both of them. And I think being a maxi is a really bad way to make trading decisions or investing decisions. You have to look at the facts out there.
Yep.
If you're not willing to change your mind, like, you're going to be a bad investor.
You do that really well.
So we like both. What I like Solana for is I like Solana for spot trading and spot issuance. If you believe that all of the capital markets in the world are going to come on chain, if you believe that you're going to have tokenized securities and bonds and equities and so on and so forth, those spot assets, I think, will be issued on a credibly neutral platform like Solana. And there's all this talk of like Canton type private networks, but those are not permissionless. Those are kind of like intranets. And now I might date myself, right? Like in the 90s, there was a whole debate about intranets versus the big public internet and what was going to be more important. And of course, intranets are like the internal corporate network, and they're very important. But actually, the big public internet is by far more important. Everyone is able to access it. Everyone's able to use it. And so everyone wants to connect to the big public internet. And to me, Solana is the big public internet.
Wow.
It's a big public blockchain. And then you will have private little blockchains like Canton that exist for a certain purpose. But I think spot asset issuance, Solana is in the pole position to win that because they have the performance to do it, and they have the credible neutrality and decentralization to do it. Hyperliquid is a different thing. Hyperliquid isn't, in my opinion, trying to do the same thing. It is a very specialized, vertically integrated product, which is specifically best for derivatives trading. Whether those are perps, or prediction markets, or in the future options, or anything else, it's very much focused on derivatives trading. It does not have the same number of validators or decentralization that Solana does. It's not as neutral per se as Solana is, which is a trade-off. It means it can be way more performant for the use case that they're optimizing for, but I also wouldn't expect to see a bunch of like tokenized securities issuers show up on Hyperliquid.
Interesting.
Solana is the internet. Just for context for chat, you mentioned the Solana trade, them crushing the Solana trade and the Hyperliquid trade. I mean, that's incredible. What was the trade? Just for context.
Oh yeah, how
describe the trade?
How early were you guys to Solana? Like what?
We led the seed round, and we doubled down on every round since. It was by far the biggest position in our funds for a really long time, and we held through it. We held through FTX. We held through just like all of that pain. And we even bought a bunch off the FTX estate when that was being liquidated.
Yeah, bro. They have a lot of Solana.
What about Hyperliquid? You guys seeded Solana?
Yeah, bro.
Must be nice, man. What the fuck are you doing here? Why are you talking to us? You should be buying countries and shit, man. What the fuck? That's insane.
I'm here to love the game. That's why.
Yes, dude. Yes. What about the Hyperliquid trade?
Yeah, so Hype we've been watching for a while, and if you go on our blog, like I've written about decentralized like perp dexes for a while. Wrote a post like in 2020 and 21, so on, exploring like that design space. And it's just always been an obvious use case for DeFi. So when we saw Hyperliquid, we were pretty excited. We were interested in what they were building, but at the time there were some hurdles that we had to overcome to put on a position. One, they didn't raise any venture money, so we couldn't do a venture round. And then two, when it listed, it was a pretty high valuation already. And so we're like, hey, was everyone just farming the airdrop? And so a lot of the volumes are going to come down after they did TGE, or is this going to be sustainable? And so we wanted to wait and collect more data about the sustainability of the users and the trading volume. Once we got that confirmation, we got pretty excited. And so we put on a big position in February of this year into Hyperliquid. Our timing turned out to be pretty good on that.
Yeah, it did.
What was the price? What was the price?